everyone. Welcome to the YouTube Model Builders Thursday night general hangout. Thursday's hangouts are for the general discussion on model railroading that we all can set a topic to discuss for the night. Thursday's hangouts are the proud sponsor of the Tuesday night presentations, the YouTube Model Builders, eMag, and the YouTube Model Builders live show. I want to say thanks for everybody joining in tonight's show. And here's your host for the night, Johnny Reb of Southeast Rails. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night show. How's everybody doing tonight? See, we got David, Tony, James in there, D&H on the chat right now. We've got, who we got here in the panel? We got, hey, there's Marty from Australia. We got Thomas, we got Phil, Dwight, Josh, Lloyd, Ed, Andy. Well, here we are at Thursday. We've had an eventful past weekend. Now for a news flash. Don't forget, February the 7th is the fine scale bill. First show, hands-on. Be there. Don't be square. I know I tickle myself. Yeah, it's going to be a good show. We got Andy Berry and Miles Hale there. It's a hands-on bill. Be doing wood structure. Join in. We'll be making a post on that very soon. So be on the lookout for it. And then let's see what else in these. Yep. Oh yeah. Last weekend was the Amherst show. So I'd like to hear from people how they liked the show. What kind of goodies did they buy? And also, yeah, last night we had another Arduino workshop. It went really good. We had a whole lot less problems on the second time around. I did mess up because I will tell you that at the end there's a lot of dead space there. All you were looking at was the splash pages. The Arduino show and the fine scale show are being produced in a little bit different way, where I keep my microphone muted all the time, and quite honestly, I forgot to unmute my microphone at the end of the show. I did make an announcement, but it was definitely on deaf ears. So I got to put a note up here on the monitor to turn the microphone on at the end of the show. So that's what happened there. Otherwise, the show went off really well. Everybody seemed to have a good time, or Chris is really putting a lot into these shows. So let's see who else. So there you go, AJ. That's the reason why there's dead space. I forgot to turn my microphone on. So, yeah, you didn't go deaf there for 2 minutes.
It was a good show, though. I had a good time.
Oh,
Quite
yeah.
a few tricks in that. It was rather enjoyable. It seemed like, basically everybody who was kind of building along with us was, figuring out that next step and pretty good sense of accomplishment, I would think, for most of us.
Yeah. Hey, John, how you doing? This must be your first time, Fort Worth. Oh, Trayman, Fort Worth, yeah. You got Sparky, he just popped in. Railroad videos in here. Hey, Ken, how you doing? James. So, any of you guys go to Amherst last weekend?
Yeah. No, I stayed here in cold Michigan.
I didn't go, but I've been watching a lot of videos from that people did. Some of them were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that was he didn't go like I didn't go, but we did get to live vicariously thanks to YouTube.
Yeah. Ken posted a comment up here. Last night's show went very well. I had some issues which finally traced down to a bad jumper wire. That's good, Ken.
Yeah, that's the handy thing. You really got to keep a multimeter or a multimeter, handy, because you got to remember this stuff's built by the lowest bidder in Taiwan. So and it's quite inexpensive. So
Yeah. Well, he's got a reason to buy a new one. His grandkids gave him a reason to buy a new one. So, I see Phil over building some tanks. Those gas tanks, oil tanks, or what, Phil?
It's Walter's propane tanks.
Oh, okay.
It was a Christmas present from Mr. Jim Ross, Jim in Michigan.
Ah.
It's the old, and it was a old set that quite honestly, I believe he got this from Lee, Union Pacific Lee, like Blockhurst.
Yeah.
What's Lee's last name?
yeah, Lee Bachler, yeah.
Bachler, yeah. I think he had gotten that from him, but it was still in its original thing. So
yeah, I think that's the one he got for $2.05.
Probably, yeah.
What's with the putty?
I'm gonna use this because, as you can kind of see, where's the seam? Oh, okay, right here's the seam. This side's not too bad. I got some spur, connections to sand off, but there's a slight edge that I can take this, down with. But any place where there's an imperfection when I get done sanding this, I'll use this Tamiya putty, and you just put it on. You can use your finger, get your finger a little bit wet. It's kind of like using like drywall, tight putty. And I'll put a layer on and then sand that down and get it smooth. So I don't want a line on here at all. I want it to be totally flat, but you can't see it in the camera, but there are weld lines in this where they've welded, looks like the ends on, and then there's 4 pieces of pipe, and then they've welded the ends on. So there's actually a ring that goes all the way around where they welded it. Like this right here is kind of bad. It's kind of overhanging a little bit, but it's nice on this side. So anyways, that's what the putty's for when I get around to it. I just glued this one up, and I've kind of been checking on this one, and I got a couple little areas that, like right there, need to touch up before I glue this together, this one.
Yeah, one of our, Lloyd here, MHO, he's been doing these corrugated roofs and doors. I tell you what, them things been coming out looking good. So I think it'd work too here if you, those welding seams didn't come out right or didn't mold right. Just sand them all the way down flat, and because what he was doing is taking thread and wrapping around and then gluing it down and then paint it. Looks good. He did a corrugated roof, and he just did he's working on garage doors for his brewery. He's making scratch built. They use the thread method.
Oh, okay, so you use just flat styrene and then just glue pieces of thread across it for the grooves of the corrugation.
Yeah, I'll let him tell you. There he is.
Here I am.
Okay.
Here, this is, I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, let me get you up there.
Pardon?
There you go. I just made you full screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's it's a 0.040 styrene, and I cut it the right size of a real, let's say, garage door. And I don't know if you could see the back. You could see the thread in the back.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, so what I did is I sliced a bit, like I think it's every 3/16. I made a little notch, and I used this one is not the right one because I used thread, and it's like a little twine, and the right one to use is made out of nylon, so it doesn't shred. So I'll show you the diff. I don't know if you could see there's a bit of shredding on the thread, and this one doesn't because it's nylon. So
Yeah,
what I did is, pardon?
It's fraying.
Fraying?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got 10 of those doors to do. So as you can see in the back, again, the thread. Now I just have to measure to make sure I get the windows fit in properly. And by painting it, I spray painted it, and what it does is it glues the thread in the back, on the front. And what I'm going to do is put some glue on the sides here just to make sure that the thread doesn't come undone.
Yeah. Do you leave that on the back of it, or you cut all that off?
Well, I could always cut it off. Like I cut off the piece that was going across the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could always do it. But if if you're not going to see it, then I'm not going to undo it. As you can see, I've got a huge stretch of doors to do.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea with cutting the notches on the back to line the thread like that. I like that.
Mm. Well, and I went online and I was looking for garage doors, and there wasn't that many, and the ones I saw were like $350 a door or $259 a door US. So I got to transfer that into Canadian, and basically this is pretty cheap. It's just twine and a sheet of styrene. If you got the patience to do it, though.
Symptomatic carrier evolution. To find your suspect, you need to.
Yeah, I was just online looking at garage doors today, and yeah, you're right. They go for about $3 to $5. $5 is where you get maybe two.
Yeah,
in a
two doors.
pack.
You're right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the cheap, like the Ritz type or whatever their other name is.
What I did is, to give you an idea, is I have my cement factory, and it's got garage doors. So I just took, I tried to pretty much copy what the door looked like.
I found it an opportunity. You can handle, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hey, Ralph, we can hear you, TV.
Okay.
Anybody else doing any building?
And of course, I started on my brewery. As you can see, this is going to be the loading dock. So that's one of the, 60 or 80 walls I have to do.
Yeah. What you got there, Thomas?
Right here's a scratch-built O-scale locomotive I'm making out of junk around the house. Specifically, nuts, bolts, tin plating, some wood, and Legos.
Huh. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that today is Mr. Ed's birthday?
Happy birthday, Ed.
I did.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Ed.
Yeah, Ralph.
I ain't singing happy birthday.
Thanks God. Man. I sang it to my cats earlier, so that's good.
I'm glad you didn't wear your birthday suit.
I did. I was outside today working, and I did see my shadow. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, today's Groundhog Day.
Yep.
They say 6 more weeks of winter.
You know, they always do that 6 weeks before the first day of spring to like 6 plus 4 days. So it doesn't matter if he sees his shadow or not. You know, spring isn't official for 6 weeks anyways.
Well, it has to do with the tilt of the earth and all that good stuff. So poor little groundhog gets all the blame.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. What you doing, Josh? Always sees the bottom side of your layout.
Wiring again. I don't think I'll ever get out of this underneath this table. I even keep a sleeping bag under here for the weekend.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, I'm running ground wires and hot wires right now because I added some more feet to the track. Where did I put the black roll? Yeah, I'm gonna get back to work in a second.
Well, while you're out from under the table, go ahead and mute your mic back.
Keep this bag fixed and back to work.
That scene you got right there, Ed's looking good. Nighttime. Street light on, building lights.
Yeah, I was. I purchased these strip LEDs from Amazon. Those right there.
Yeah.
And they were really bright, and it was really not looking great. So I got one of those for, what was it, $6.49. That's including shipping. And it actually dimmed it down enough that it actually did work. But little strip lights, those were $8.99, and I got an adapter. So it's like $18 for the whole power and the blue lights. Like they're really bright, but yeah, they dim. And I'm pretty happy. It's actually not quite that blue, but that's because it's the camera. You know, it's a long exposure, so it really saturates it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And but it looks pretty good. I'm thinking though that it probably wouldn't hurt to have a few white LED lights up amongst the blue, just to act as a fill. I may play with that, see if that works.
Yeah. Did I see you post something a few days back? You were building a wall.
Oh, that was there was a little a scene at the end of my layout that I just wanted a just add. Let me see if I could. I just wanted to add a little bit of there's something in there. So what I did was, let's open with photo gallery. Okay, anyway. So this is a piece of a New England brownstone, and he makes his name's Russ Green. He owns the company. He's actually his daytime job. He works at a dental lab. He does the the false teeth. He does all the plaster work, right? So he starts a business up, and that's his. I think the large dry stack stone, and that's where I was going to put it in there, and I glued it and all that stuff. But here's how the I followed the instructions on his website on painting it, and I thought it came out pretty good.
Yeah, looks good.
I mean, look at that. I'm pretty sure when he built that the master, that he actually dry stacked the stone or the plaster. I can't see, but and I did my rock, and that's that's what it looks like. I just wanted a little.
Did you use that organic sponge material and stamp in those like acrylic colors the way he's talking about doing it?
Well, I used a piece of the black foam that's inside when you get your engine in the box,
Yeah. Yeah. This stuff. Yeah, it's close style material.
A piece of that crap, right? And all I did was I took a khaki, and I just mixed some water. I mixed a couple of drops of paint and some water. It's just craft store acrylics, right? And just blotted across the whole thing. Did with a darker brownish color, and then it came up with a gray. And then I come back with India ink, a fine brush, and touch it to the cracks. And it sucked it into all the cracks. It can't. But the sad part is the one on top. I carved that one. I'm gonna have to go back and repaint it. Now that I know the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
Well, it came out good.
Yeah, I thought so. If you go to New England Brownstone on his website, he's got a page. He talks about how to color the stone. It's basically a SBS. It shows you photos of the real walls and talks about the colors and
Did you mist it with the spray polyurethane like he recommended sometimes?
Yes, I actually did that. I sprayed the wall with a whatever. I just had whatever flat clear I had,
Right.
Just to seal the surface. And I'm really impressed how it came out.
Yeah, that's the most unique, unique method I've seen. It's quite different than anybody else's method I've seen for doing stonework, and I've got some of that stuff as well. Of course, we've talked about, and I'm just incredibly fond of that dental plaster that he casts with. It's exceptional.
Well, in the it's simply that. Well, first of all, and straight up, that's not me. This is just following his instructions. But he does the wall itself is such good. If you go back and look at the first picture I posted, it's it's just you go, oh, that's just plaster, right? But there's a lot of detail in that. And he's got like 3 sides of walls, I think.
Oh, I agree. The fidelity of it, and even the surface texture that's on it, not just around the edges and around the crevices between them, but the surface texture is that's one thing that seems to be lost on various other methods.
Yeah. See, I actually, when I joined this is actually just a flat piece of wall. Now I made a corner. You can see a little bit of join line, but I kind of just followed his stuff. But I was happy the way that came out. That was there's some of your florist foam.
Oh yeah, I used some of that recently too for the first time.
I use it for any place I need to. I found a new product that I use for this fill. I got it at Lowe's. It's called MH Ready Patch. And it's made by Rust-Oleum, and in a half an hour it dries hard, pretty much.
And what is it for?
It's a patch like a spatula. But it's just yes, I'll show you. I like, here it is. I got it at Lowe's. It just says Ready Patch.
Ready Patch.
And it's got caution, do not take it currently. Wear blah blah blah. It's got polymers, and so it's not just spackle, right? It's some kind of a new age spackle. But I'm actually pretty. I'm like, darn, this stuff works pretty good.
It's amazing we've discussed on here and on G Plus on Facebook numerous times about the variety of, or the argument for or against Hydrocal and Durarock and plaster of Paris and all that, and dental plaster and all that. There's a lot of diversity between those materials, and there's a lot of reasons to use one over another for particular methods.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like this. When I was doing this, it was just I carved, and in this thing here, I've got plaster. You can see that's plaster over there. That's aluminum foil rock on the far right. You can tell that. The rest of it's who knows? I'm what you see right there, the green forest foam. It's just a surface, but there's my use of I painted gray over the Indian, and then I come back with a brown temper powdered paint, and I just sift it on there with a brush, and then you squirt it with water and it washes it down into all the crevices and stuff. See, and when it dries, you get that.
Ed, you have to show them the rock that you did scratching at the styrofoam. You did that little tutorial a year ago.
Similar to that, yeah. Same type idea. This my layout. Most all my rocks that way it's. I use basically a like a khaki or a sand color as a base latex, and then the any ink and the temper paint. It gives it's one of those things where you come back and you can reproduce it. And you come back and dry brush a little bit with the base color, and it actually works pretty quick for just not having rock molds.
Did you have a spot where you could see some tree roots, or they're talking about it in the chat sub? Did you see a place where some tree roots were visible? I might have missed that looking for what they're talking about, but
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
I'm not sure.
I'm like, huh? What?
Right, I didn't see that either, and I have tried to. The prof kind of asked about Professor Kleisler, kind of mentioned love the tree roots in quotes too. So I'm not sure where we start about either. Although I have tried to recreate some of the tree roots using real tree roots along a river embankment where there's a wash. Oh, there.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, it's electrical cabling.
Yeah,
that is. But I do have tree roots. Is
that right?
If I look at my structures, and if I look at my Where's the outhouse? Let's see.
It's usually out back.
And well, this is what this is the first. This is actually the first thing I did when I started back in 2010 when I started Model Railroad. The first thing I scratched built like up. That's all hand carved right there. That's HO by the way too. They're little. That's a Paper Creek Models outhouse. Oh, by the way, I said I got a link. I got these up on my website. If you want to download them, I got both HO and O scale.
That's that little paper. That's the paper wood.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, I got that. That's their little freebie outhouse. I think it's free. It's awesome though.
Yeah, it's what I did. I printed one time, and then I printed a mirror image.
Yeah.
And
to make it interior.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just mirrored it, right? So this was the outhouse of my little diorama, right? So the
just drop it off the end.
yeah. So I had a little road and a little. Oh, here's some roots.
Oh yeah, all right.
But there was the. I used to have a thing that said no swimming. There's some of the roots coming down. See it?
Now, how'd you make those?
That's just wire covered with whatever something that covers the wire up.
Like clay or something like that?
What was it?
Or latex material.
Latex caulking.
Yeah, it's been 6-7 years ago. I don't even freaking remember anymore. It was just whatever I had that worked, right? Yeah, I mean that was a wire tree. So that was just the end of the wires. I did an outside shot here, so here we go. So that was the it was dropping over the edge. Anyway.
Hence, that's why there was no swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Polluted water.
No swimming signs were up.
There it was.
Contaminated water. Yeah.
Anyway, so there it is. So there's the roots.
That's a cool little diorama. It's like 6x6.
I guess. Again, this is HO, so it's I got a hand in there somewhere.
Yeah, a little bonsai kind of thing. Oh yeah, a little dude.
There's wait a minute. What was it? I saw a hand here some damn place. There. So anyway.
Ed, you got to make a 2-story outhouse.
You know, they actually have had some of those where the it was like a tongue in cheek, but the actual waste fell down behind the partition for the one up below. So it, but they actually had those in real life. But like I said, I got this outhouse. If anybody wants it, I got it. What these were. Paper Creek don't exist no more, but these were a freebie that they put out in order to get people to buy stuff from the website.
From Paper Creek.
Yeah, Paper Creek, and so I got them. Anybody wants them, I can link them to the. But I've used the O scale version, and I used that. And
what about that rock face you did for Model Railroad Line Forum? The one you did in styrofoam?
Oh, the SBS, the step-by-step on it.
Yep.
That's on my. I got that on my.
It's on your webpage.
I got that on my website. You go to. One second. You go to. Oh, they're my mailboxes, by the way. We was talking about this. These are the Rusty Skunks mailboxes, and I found out that they've been in the same mailbox from 1908 up to today. And so you can go by here and you can find the color they were, or whatever you're modeling. But anyway, you were talking about the scenery, rock work, styrofoam rocks, right there. And I'll walk you through the process. And I mean, it's not, it's a specific rock, I guess you would say. It's not. But if you're, they're using you got that point. That's using latex paint. There's a tempera and water and some. It dries and there's some any ink, and it ends up, like that. That's all.
And that's just styrofoam, guys.
That's just styrofoam with
A little bit of gravel.
the rubble is actually paper based. You go down to Lowe's, or then the box stores. You can purchase a 40 pound bag of paper base. It's decomposed granite, and you can make all the gravel, all the ballast you want by sifting it. And you can even color it by you put color in it. You just basically you sift it around. There was a guy did on a Model Railroad Academy showed about coloring this stuff. That's pretty cool stuff. So that. So.
Well, that's red, Ralph.
Isn't it though? But that's before it gets weathered.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to look like. Either NS, it's NS colors or CP colors, but that's the one with the CS instead of NS, Calgary Southern. So that's what I'm working on. This was weathered with the Trax engine. So now I have to put the decals on. Once I get that done, then I can start weathering it.
Yeah. Now, is that all motive paint you're using on that, or?
No, this is Tamiya.
Okay.
And I thin it out with lacquer thinner. And it sprays really nice.
Did you use a Tamiya thinner?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody said, I was reading one of the military modelers, and he said that he suggested using a Tamiya thinner because the regular thinner you get it at the store is too it's too strong, I guess is the word.
Well, the nice thing about their colors is they mix and match. So, and that's what a lot of the military guys do when they're doing their colors for tanks and so on. Even though they may not have the exact color they want, they'll mix their own from what they have or what's available. That's what I do.
Now, walkway, you paint that in last with a brush?
The walkway?
Yeah.
The walkway's already done. It's already been weathered because this engine was weathered before. So you can see the light pipe is still in place.
Yeah.
And it's already sort of a grayish color with the plow done on the front.
Yeah. I meant the walkway there that's on the engine going up to the cab.
In here.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it's already done.
So you just mask that off before you paint it.
I actually, those pieces, the walkway actually come off.
Oh, okay.
Separate pieces, so it made it easy for me to paint.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even the antenna dome on the top came off.
Oh.
Even the cab separates as well, and it takes all of this with it. The step here, the boxes,
Yeah.
takes all of that with it when you separate it. I don't know whether you can see that.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Ralph, is that a Kato?
It is actually.
I knew it was because I've got an RS Kato, and that's exactly how that comes apart. Same exact way.
Yeah. There's one other brand, I think it's Intermountain, I'm not sure, that the actual walkway, the lower walkway and the other stuff separate. And if you're ever doing any weathering, these are the engines you want to use, because if it's like the Athearn one, when you're doing your weathering, if these walkways don't come off, you can't stroke right down because the walkway gets in the way with your brush. So you have to do it in reverse. You have to go up. And that's a pain in the ass to get that right.
What kind of to me are you using? Are you using the acrylic, the enamels, the lacquers?
There is only one. There is no other. There's only acrylic.
Oh, they have sprays that are enamels too.
I don't use sprays.
Okay, and they also make a line that's an enamel, I believe, for RC cars because of the polycarbonate body. That's why I'm asking. So you're using it. It's just a lacquer.
That's in a spray can.
Oh, okay.
They don't in the bottle form, the brushable stuff. It's only acrylic.
Right. So you're using the using this thinner, the X20A?
Nope.
No.
That's the paint in the bottle. And
Yeah.
I use Tamiya makes two things. They make a lacquer thinner. Let me get you the number if you want it. Okay. Sure. There's no numbers on them, but it's kind of difficult to miss the name. One of them's called lacquer thinner.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is airbrush cleaner.
Okay.
And the thing about Tamiya paints, they were originally designed to be lacquer, the ones in the bottle. And because of the environmental impact and sending stuff to especially California, lacquer was a big issue. So they made them acrylic.
Yeah.
The nice thing about them is, this is what I like so much about the Tamiya paints. They mix with water. They mix with the regular acrylic thinner, the A20 or 20A.
Yeah.
They mix with lacquer thinner. They mix with the airbrush cleaner. And I've sprayed with all of it, and they all work beautifully.
Okay.
Now, some acrylics, when you start adding like lacquer thinner or alcohol, they turn to gel, or they just what do you call it, curdle.
Right.
But these paints, they're impervious to it, so they take whatever you put in.
I have found that this X20A works with the cheaper craft paints along with the Vallejo, and also, you know, all the acrylics from Tamiya.
Yeah, if you're
I
doing,
didn't know they made a different one other than the X20A.
There's a point to what you were saying. Is that I'm reading from a book by Michael Rinaldi. He's a pretty famous military modeler.
who's that? Mike Rinaldi?
Yeah.
Yep.
He says, to my acrylics are chemically quite similar to a lacquer in some of its properties and are thus called acrylic lacquers. So that points right to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Huh.
So anytime I'm using craft paint or anything other than Tamiya that I want to put a thinner in, I have a bottle of I guess it's Testers. It's called Universal Acrylic Thinner, and it works well with all the others.
But yeah, that's a point. We were talking. I was talking about using one of the methods of is using the chipping method, the hairspray technique. Is
Yep.
that acrylic? I mean, a Tamiya chips because it leaves a hard shell, while some of the other acrylics are actually like
A vinyl.
they're a vinyl. Yeah, it's a vinyl acrylic, or I would say.
Yep.
And so it is a skim. It leaves a film more like a milk grind on a glass. And yeah, I'm also a Tamiya. You can tell I'm also a Tamiya fan.
Yeah, a lot of these do not work like you're talking about with those techniques, like that Chuck Doan technique. That's what I'm experimenting with right now. These are wet with just scrap pieces, but painted with turp painted with mineral spirits and then painted over. Right now, I've done several different variants and try to peel the paint at different times to get different effects. I haven't mastered the timing yet because it seems like if you let it set up completely, that it's a really drastic effect, or if you pull it off too fast, it's too.
But you don't want the mineral spirits to dry out completely, or you'll never get that effect.
Yep. I've even started the peeling effect. Hit it with tape one time, and it just barely comes off, and then tape. And you can't you can't brush it with the mineral spirits.
Just
Otherwise,
dab
it spreads the paint. But if you'll get that wet again with mineral spirits through it, it seems to to split it open.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered it yet, though. I'm just.
Well, you only been working with it for about half hour, 45 minutes, so yeah.
Oh yeah. I shouldn't take that long, should it?
Yeah.
Should have been finished already, like by 20 minutes.
You guys need to get Chuck Doan on here to do a whole. You ought to have a whole episode with just him doing techniques.
He's unbelievable that what he does is even possible.
Yeah. I want to interrupt a minute. Tony, what you need for the fine scale build is just your basic modeling tools. We will be making a post probably this weekend, or if not a little bit sooner, on the tool list and the different paints that Andy, Miles, and Barry are going to be using. But if you don't want to build a kit they're building, just some kind of wood structure that'll fit your layout, and you just really need your basic modeling tools like X-Acto knives, good sharp blades, some sandpaper, 100 grit up to about 220, Andy?
Yeah, I use like a 220 and then maybe a 400 occasionally, depending on some of your paint techniques, because some of my techniques I'll use a 400 just to smooth out the paint peeling effects that may be a little out of scale.
Yeah.
A straight edge at a 90-degree square or 3-2-1 blocks or 1-2-3 blocks, are quite handy, but I use a square all the time. clamps, or I use clothespins. Like that's one of my I've got some clamps, but my favorite clamps are clothespins.
Yeah.
And you know, some glues and stuff, because the first show is just subassembly structure and basic paint weather. You know, we won't get into the windows and all those other meticulous details that, you know, that you may need some unique tools for.
Yeah, as far as glues go, do not use your styrene or any glues like that. You want wood type glues or the white glue. Yeah, like Aleene's tacky glue works good.
I like that. A lot of people use CA, but CA is fine in the short term. But over time, my personal opinion, or actually the fact of the matter, really is that CA degrades or gets brittle over time. So if you're going to take it off, and you know, in years to come, if you wanted to add an interior, it's tough to handle wood structures done with CA. For me.
Yeah, Mark was asking. What's the kit? The kit is from BTS. It's a C&O standard section house.
Yeah.
Part number 27654. HO scale, it's about, what, $35 or something like that, Andy?
Yeah, $35 MSRP, or Hobby Lake has it for $30, $29.95.
But they have it in O scale, HO, and N scale.
Yep. And BTS has a lot. I don't know if they have it in S or not, but BTS has a lot of structures in N, HO, S, O. And I mean, they have a part of the reason we want to choose that one is it was a wide variety of different scales.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
But look in the next few days there, Tony, there will be a tool list with recommended paints that all three of them will be using, because all three are using different paints. But you can do it with craft paints and paint pencils, or the felt tip pens, paint pens.
Yeah, Miles has a trick, and he did some videos some years ago on using an oil-based crayon, essentially, for some of his technique. And if you go look at Model Railroad University's YouTube channel and search for Marker House or MH in his channel, you'll see some of his technique. But that way you can look at the materials, and then he'll show you, you know, how to apply it to this particular structure, because this structure has some kind of unique things. Like it has the exterior, what do you call that? Lathing strips, or battens. The battens. Yeah. So, you know, there's some different techniques. That's why we're each going to do it, you know, somewhat different.
Yeah, it's a board and batten kit.
Yep. It's a really nice kit, and BTS is, you know, I'm really fond of their kits for the money, especially. But they have doorknobs. I mean, they have HO scale doorknobs with them.
Yeah, you do get some detail parts there in the white metal. You get a trash pile with it. You get a chimney. I think you get one pigeon or some kind of bird you can put on the roof. I forgot what all came in my kit. It's, yeah, a little bit of detail parts there. Of course, those you'll use a metal file to clean them up and then paint them.
Yeah, and I have better luck with straight oils on those, like those pigeons. I painted them with just straight white oil paint, and that worked quite well. But
yeah,
and you can buy the parts separate from BTS. You can buy their doorknobs. You can buy their pigeons.
Yeah, that's fine too, Tony. Scratch building along with them. That's good. The show's more about just showing you technique and how to work with wood structures.
And we wanted to do some scratch building at some point too. You know, as the show progresses, we'll do more. We just, you know, we wanted to get their feet wet and you know, start showing people that wood structures are not that scary.
So let me throw this idea out to you.
All right.
Say somebody's got some scrap pieces of balsa laying around, or basswood.
Sure.
they could just do samples on that wood, the same techniques that you guys are doing, to see if how the techniques show out. They don't even actually have to build a structure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because you're
that's-
going to be showing us how to do techniques for wood.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
And lose nothing, no cost. But there's also a whole lot of $10 or $12. I mean, like these kits, these are one of those I recommended. These are for branch line trades, laser art for branch line trades. You get a pack of 4 of these for like 16, 18 bucks, little sheds and stuff.
Right.
They're, you get a bunch of these. And that's one of the things that I'm sure many of you have heard me say before, and most of us have to realize the thing that's missing on most model railroads is the detail. Humans are cluttery, if not dirty creatures. We dirty up the whole world, and most of these layouts you see that even look quite good are missing the sheds. They're missing the little details that make things right, and not the obvious stuff like mailboxes. Sometimes it's the newspapers, like Kathy Millett's video showing newspapers on the streets and stuff. And something I give Gino credit for. He did that, really well. Gino really brings out that dirty, grimy effect that's really good. But these little structures, little lawnmower buildings and stuff are missing a lot of times. So
That's a good point. I went online looking for other structures, cheaper ones. I found one for $11 from Atlas, but it's basically nothing. I mean, you don't get any extras. You don't get the little doorknobs you were pointing out. So you pay for what you get. If you don't want much, you don't have to pay much.
Well, there's 2 big differences as you go from $20 wood structure kits to $350, $400 wood structure kits. Detail parts are one of those, and instructions are the other. So with the very basic kits, you're going to get a couple pages of really basic instructions, and you need to figure most of it out yourself. And that's the goal of our show, is to kind of take some more advanced techniques, not over the top, but some more advanced techniques, so you can take a $30 kit and get the effects that you would get out of a $100+ kit. And so detail parts and instructions are the big diversity between the prices of wood structures, and then the size of structures, obviously.
So much depends on it's the modeler, not so much the model.
Yeah, and we need get the right structure too, because we don't all model the same era, the same geographic location. This might not be the right structure for you. If you're modeling a modern railroad, there's not a lot of section houses still left that haven't burnt down, been torn down, rotted at this point. If you model up through the 70s or 80s, there would still be some section houses around used as tool sheds and such. So just any wood structure, but this was a really good one because it's small and going to be easy enough to build, but it also has some really awesome detail, like the separate battens on the outside, or like I've got some structures that have that same type of material that have interior stud wall detail on garages. That they look, I'll show you. These are just. I mean, these details, again, these are the things that are often missing, but, it's got stud wall detail. This was $18 or $17 and it's got doors and all that other stuff. I just haven't put them on yet. So they're not hard. They're relatively inexpensive, but a lot of people are afraid of them.
Yeah, looks like you're coming right along there, Thomas.
Yep, just took a piece of plastic from a kit I broke a long time ago. It was a cheap, Hot Wheel thing, build your own. Cut a cylinder in half, put it up there for the headlight. Added this little piece right here, or right here.
Yeah, you're going to put an LED light in it.
Yeah, I will, once it's done. It's gonna be slightly exposed right here, just right there.
Yeah.
With just the wire going straight down into it.
Yeah.
But for now, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Got the smokestack put on, painted up. As you can see, even right here by the door handle.
Yeah. You
I
need,
have some better pictures if you want me to pull them up.
yeah, we see that pretty good.
Going to just share my screen real quick.
All right.
A little bit for scale there with the penny.
Is that going to be DCC?
It's more for display only because it's going to be my first time doing an actual scratch build. Like locomotive wise. It's more of a test of anything.
Yeah, railroad video just asked how you was going to power it, but you just answered that being a static model.
Well, no, if I did want to power it up, though, I have this right here. Got it out of old Lionel.
Yeah.
I have another one of those. I'll probably give you, because I'm never going to use it probably one of these days. Maybe. I don't know.
That would be useful. But this came from one of the old plastic shelled ones.
Yeah, it doesn't have the E unit either. It only goes one direction.
Yeah, turn the volume down, Josh.
Okay. I don't know if I want to get back under a table again. I probably will.
Yeah, I guess Phil stepped away. It looked like he's got his tank glued up now.
Yeah, I actually walked to the other side of the basement here to get by the computer.
I might have to go. So, see you guys.
Okay, bye, Thomas. Thanks for coming in for a little bit. I know you...
Oh, and Josh, please give me a link to this afterwards.
Link to what?
The actual YouTube video of this.
Okay.
All you gotta do, Thomas, is just go to YouTube and in the search put YouTube Model Builders. And
It'll be the latest Thursday show.
It'll bring up our page. The show will be up where you can see it in about 30 minutes after the show's over.
Okay.
Yeah. See ya.
That must be your test track, Marty.
Yeah, I've got I just installed a WoW version 4 into this G-Class, so I'm just trying to see what it's doing at the moment, having a play around in JMRI.
Working out so far?
A couple of weird things happening, but you know.
Hey. It wouldn't be fun if you didn't have some weird things happen.
Yeah, like suddenly the horn has decided to stop operating.
Well, that's because the air compressor died.
No, I can hear that running.
Air leak.
Okay, so
God, it sounds like a turbine.
Yeah, it's a turbo 567. In V-line colours, which is Victorian Railways down in Melbourne.
Yeah, the light works.
Yeah, I should have some marker lights there as well.
Say, that's a good question when you mentioned down by Melbourne. How many rail lines are there in Australia, Marty?
Well, all the state governments used to run their own railways. So basically every state has got its own rail company. They've all been sold off. The only one that's still owned by the government is Queensland Railway. So up here we have QR, which is Queensland Rail. Down in New South Wales, they have New South Wales Government Railway, or the PTC. And then Victoria has V-Line, which is the old Victorian Railways. And you have Tasmanian Tasrail. And then the trains that run basically across the continent all run by Australian National. And then you got about 15 different freight companies. Everything from BHP Billiton to Hammersley Iron. They've all got their own rolling stock, their own railway. And of course, they're all different gauges. Victorian Railways is 5'3", broad gauge, standard gauge in New South Wales, and then up here in Queensland it's 3'6".
Sounds like how America was back in the early railroad days.
It wasn't until too long ago, if you were catching a train from Melbourne to Sydney, which are the two biggest cities in the country, at about 1 o'clock in the morning, you used to actually have to get off one train and get onto another train.
Right.
When it went from the 5'3" network to the 4'8" network at the border, the New South Wales border. And then they brought a system in of what they call bogie exchange. So they'd bring the whole passenger train in, lift it up, change all the bogies underneath, put on a different set of locos on the front that run on 4'8", and then proceed off there into Sydney. And freight traffic used to have to be physically unloaded from one train to another train whenever it got to a border. Because you got to remember, when this country was formed, it was basically 5 or 6 different colonies.
Look like I see the right turn signal blinking.
Up now it's stopped.
Yeah.
It's got one of those keep alives in it as well. I forgot about that. The thing runs for about 5 minutes after you turn the track power off.
I hope you don't have any lift outs.
We do.
You can't adjust.
So the keep alive might be getting removed from this loco before it runs on the home layout.
So you can't adjust the keep alive, unless you change the capacitor.
Well,
yeah, you got to change the size. It's got one of those KA5s from TCS, but I think they're too big. I mean, I'm not a fan of keep alive.
Neither am I. But if
you do your track work properly, you don't need keep alive.
Right. But if you did have the keep alive in there, if you remember where the lift out is, and you know that it's out, if you stop the engine, it stops.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
If you tell it
physically to stop, it'll stop.
That's correct. What I'm doing on this one with the lift out sections, when the door actually opens, is it'll just make an e-stop in JMRI, and then it'll just stop everything on the layout. As soon as the door's shut, it'll take the e-stop off, and they should all resume doing what they were doing. But Yeah, the keep alives. I mean, all it does, all I think that does is promote people to do bad track work and bad electrical wiring of points and bits and pieces. You know, allows them to get away with it.
Yeah, I got 2 turnouts on the way out at the store. I guess see what's going on there with those, because some of the engines, when they get right there to them, they stop. They're the Pico turnouts.
Oh, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, well, the Pico turnouts, I only use the Electra frogs. I don't use those Insul frogs.
Right. But they are power rooting, are they not?
Yeah.
They are. Oh, the horn's working again. Well, I suppose it's got a bell. Yes. We'll have to get rid of that. There ain't no bell on a G-Class in Victoria. Yeah.
No bell? What do they do when they're in the station?
Everybody gets out the way.
Yeah. I was going to say some people going to get ran over.
Yeah, no, not many Australian locos run bells. So if you're walking around a rail yard, you got to keep your eyes open.
Interesting.
Now, what was that you put on up there on the track behind that engine?
Oh, me
That's
track
a
cleaner.
Trix wheel cleaner.
Yeah, one of the best wheel cleaners I reckon you can get.
It has 2 brass strips on the bottom that sit on the rail, and when you put the engine on top, it's like a brush.
Yeah.
You got the brush thing on the top.
Huh.
And then they click together. So if you got a few of them, they can all click together so you can get a steam loco or, you know, something big on there. But great little idea.
Huh.
Yeah.
Clever little Germans.
I'm not even sure it's Germans. Trix.
Trix is I'm pretty sure Trix is German. Because we've got one model guy with our club, and all he will have is either Swiss or German.
That might be Swiss.
Yeah, and he has all the he has Trix locos and rolling stock, and
Yeah, it's either German or Swiss, one of the two.
uses Uhlenbrock DCC.
Trix
Yeah,
at one point made us an HO gauge steam engine, like real steam.
yes, yep. Like the did you ever see the Hornby ones? Hornby did a live steam loco that you could get in HO.
Mm-hmm.
You actually had to fill it up with water, and yeah, but it used its own proprietary control system, so you couldn't use it on a DCC layout or anything like that. Now this has stopped again. Okay.
That would be an ideal candidate for a wireless control system, much like the Garden Railroad guys do with basically RC these days, if you were going to do true live steam. Although I think that's a stretch of most of our ideas of model railroading to say that one of the requirements to run trades is to have a fire extinguisher on your back.
Over here, there's a club that has live steam G gauge outdoor railway, and it was funny. We were around there one day, and they just about set a bushfire happening in the park that they run in. As one loco came off, turned over, and then emptied all its metho and everything all over the ground. Next minute, all the grass was on fire. So everybody's over there with jumping up and down on the grass trying to put the fire out before it gets out of control.
Here, JD, Johnny.
Yay.
Let me show you. I think I finally got it. I don't know if you could see the fence, or is it
Okay.
too far?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Finally got it to roll.
Oh, that's good.
So with the Arduino, we'll be able to open the gate.
Yeah. I know Ed would like to see that. Those are his rollers.
Yeah, that's Ed's rollers. Yeah, I showed him yesterday. I was trying to figure out a way to really like keep the rollers in place because they're so small. They're what size are they? They're so small. They're 3/16.
That's small.
Very small, and what I like is that at least there won't be any force with the Arduino. It's going to go about here.
You know, I was thinking about that and how to make those things. Is if you would if you use epoxy, that is thick enough it wouldn't suck into the rollers. If you put a little a small amount of epoxy in that hole and shove the axle through that, that would hold it.
You mean in the tube?
Like where the pulley axle goes through your vertical.
Through the post.
Yeah.
Just put a little if you put what I'm saying, if you take like a needle or something and shove the epoxy in the hole, when you shove the axle through, it will shove. It won't come out the side of the that you're playing with. It'll shove it out the back side. You can wipe that off, and it ought to set those things permanently.
Yeah, I tried another glue, and the problem is putting it into that little hole. It's so tiny. It's a 0.020.
Yeah.
That's pretty small. No, I was I used a full rod. Well, in this case, it's a square rod.
Yeah, square stock.
Yeah, and the square rod is 2/16.
Eighth of an inch.
Yeah, 2/16 of an inch. So I was able to drill a little hole with my little hand drill. Yeah, you see my hand drill.
Yeah.
And I pre-bent the piano wire, so I was able to pull it, and basically I put tape to hold it like really tight, and then I'll just give it a coat of paint.
Well, big thing is it's working. Looks good.
Yeah, and I found a few things there for Arduino that I got to try out. Yeah.
So that's going to be quite a throw for whatever you use to move it.
No, because I don't have to move it that much.
You're
Hold
moving
on.
about 2 inches.
Yeah, I'm moving it. Yeah, about 2¼ inches. Yeah. Yeah, but if the servo is pretty far away.
No, it's the throw on the arm that's what's going to give you problems.
You're going to have to build a very large arm, and what I mean by that, it's actually called a bell crank. So if you can imagine a T shape, and the one arm, the center part of the T, you'd have to make it at least, I would say, 2 inches or more long. And then the rod from your servo would connect almost at the base of it. And then the rod for your fence would be at the end of it, so that you get that extra throw from it.
Yeah.
Because the white piece on the top of that servo now is called a bell crank. See the shape of that? It's like a T.
Yeah.
So you want to make the long part, or the T part of it, even longer. I think you got, maybe that's an X on top of yours.
It's a plus sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
An X. But if I put it like, instead of having it here, I put it, let's say, an inch away. And basically it's going to have to move only, it won't have to move that much.
It's got to move 2 inches.
Yeah, it's going to move 2 inches. So it will probably be the equivalent of 60 degrees. You understand?
Okay.
Because if I start at, let's say I start at minus 70 degrees, and I turn 70 degrees, I just looked at the distance here, I would have two inches.
Yeah, but not at the arm. You're looking at it at the table, so that part of the arm would have to be made longer to be where the table is. You understand?
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand.
Because if you put that servo right down at the table and then try and do that 2 inches, you're going to
the arm, I understand the arm would have to be longer, but what I'm going to do is have a tube, like a plus tube if you want, and the tube will go inside here, and there's going to be another tube on the side that goes like plus wise if you want.
Yeah.
And there's going to be another pin that's going to go inside that tube, so it's the tube that's going to make it move, and the piano wire that's inside is going to move inside that tube. You understand? It's like, it would be like what do you call them?
A hinge pin.
No, not a hinge pin. More like hold on. This is going to be pretty cool.
This is where you think to yourself,
see,
why do I pay attention in math?
Okay, see, it would be like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and when it moves, this piece goes longer. You understand?
I do. It's telescopic.
Yeah. So it would be like a piston if you want. So it would be, I would have one going inside here, and I would have the other one on the other side. So I wouldn't need that much of
if it binds at all, it's gonna bend your fence. That's the only problem.
Why is it going to bend the fence?
Because the movement of the servo is basically a circular motion. It's not a straight back and forth motion.
I agree, but here, I'll take it out again.
Even though it's telescopic, if that telescopic part of it, the in and out that you planned on doing, if that binds for any reason, a spider gets in there or whatever, a cobweb, it will want to twist because it's not going to go in and out.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I do intend to not having a twist. There's probably going to be like a lot of loose in it. so that
Best laid plans.
Yeah.
What about doing it in the same plane as your desktop? Do it horizontally.
you mean just having it pulled
Anyway.
this way.
Yeah.
I thought about that too. I haven't really thought about the mechanics yet because I'm waiting for a package to come in with gears and chain.
Okay.
So that might make it much easier also.
Hey, Ralph,
Yes.
you remember growing up how we used to have the clubhouse and we always put the sign on the door, no girls allowed?
No girls allowed. Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
well, Lloyd's got sign on his door, no spiders allowed.
And
You see
he's
this one? Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this one yet.
No, I haven't.
Where? Okay, well, I've got my little banana that goes inside the building, and he's going to come out. Okay, and come to a box right here, and then you'll have that fence.
Lock the gate.
That's going to lock the gate. So I've got one servo that takes care of this. I've got one servo that takes care of this. But this guy here, I want him to come and fit between the locomotive that's going to come in and the freight car that's going to be here, as if he was disconnecting the car. So to be able to do that, I would need two servos, like on two planes, or I could get the gears with the chain where I could make him go wherever I want. So that's why I ordered the gears and chain to see what I could do with this.
Here's another thought.
Go ahead.
Add a piece of acetate or plastic to the base of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So now that holds him upright. And put a magnet in the base of him, in his legs. And then run a magnet underneath and you don't even see the slot.
I agree, but with the magnet, then you would have a guy with a magnet under his feet.
Yeah.
And the fact that I would make static grass, okay, I would make the static, like I would put static grass on this side, leaning this way, and grass on this side leaning the other way, so it would kind of hide the slot. But like I said, this is just a test because I had to recut because it was getting hooked on the piece of wood. But it's like a demo,
Yeah.
work in progress.
Because I'm thinking more in lines of the type of thing that they do with those Fowler cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
They follow a wire that's embedded in the base.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lloyd, here's an
Yep.
idea. You got the guy coming out.
Yeah.
Stop him a little bit short on that curve. You know, bring him around a little more.
Okay.
You know, and stop right along there. Have your electrical box to operate the gate, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes on around to the end of that slot, which is where the track is. He's in between the cars. Because a lot of times they'll pull the trip pins and lock the coupler open. That way the train can push on in, push the cars in. Then they lock the brakes and they pull off, which pulls the airlines loose, and they can pull on out. He doesn't have to walk all the way down. He does it right there at the gate, because a lot of times that's what they do, is they'll just push them in and pull out.
At the gate? At the gate?
Yeah, they can do that.
Okay, because I thought maybe like the last freight car would be like the locomotive would have to come all the way in. So I'm looking at 8 inches of.
That's
let's
again.
say-
Also,
Look-
a lot of times in the railroad business, that's against the law. That's outlawed to bring a locomotive into a building. You're not supposed to do that. Certain facilities you can, where they got run through. The most time, yeah, That's against the
Okay,
against
well,
rules.
okay, Josh, that's not a building here. That's outside.
Oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at the camera, and I just put my headset on.
Okay.
I just heard going into
So-
the building.
So
Door.
the gate is here. Okay, so the gate is here. Then I go 8 inches, brings me here. So
That's two
the
cars.
locomotive, no, that would be one locomotive that would come in, depending on which one. It could be 6 or 8 inches. So I thought that, like, here would have to be where you would have to fit in between the locomotive.
Then you're gonna have to have another guy come out of the building from the backside.
No, because really the track would be here, and I would have another curve that would go like the other way around. But that would be, like I said, on a different plane. Okay.
But it's
So you,
gonna have to be a different guy.
no, the same guy.
That guy's already fastened on the bottom of that circle.
Well, I
He's gonna
totally agree,
rotate
but
the
that,
whole thing.
that's one plane. The other plane underneath would make, well, it would be the opposite, where the first plane that's underneath here would make him go this way, and then the plane would turn, like underneath would turn to make him go the other way. It's a bit complicated to explain.
I know what you mean, but I can't see it being done.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to take out my other.
Yeah, he's actually got it to work. I mean, he's got a different mock-up.
What he's saying is that circle that the guy moves on, turn the entire mechanism of the circle around like 30 degrees and then run it again. The guy moves in the direction.
It's
Okay, this is it. This would be it. Okay, at first I had the guy.
Move it more to your right, because all the logos on the bottom are in the way. A little bit more.
No,
to
to
the
your right. There you go. Right
Here?
there.
I'll go back to your right, to your right, to your right. There.
Okay. At first I thought of 3 planes, where this guy here. Hold on. How did it work? Okay, yeah, that's it. The guy would go this way, right? Then I would have the other plane where, like, the gate would open where the guy wouldn't. Yeah, so you see, that would be the gate, and then once the gate is open, hold on, I can't remember how I did it. Just give me a minute. Okay, so he goes this way, then it goes this way, then he goes back the other way. So it has moved from its path.
Okay, so my question is, how does it go from one circular motion to the other and still be maintained on the servo?
It would be 3 different servos, one taking care of this plane. Okay, so, and the other servo would activate the second plane. It's like you have 3 levels, okay?
No, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out how it releases from one to the other.
It doesn't release. Everything turns together. Like the 3rd level would make the guy come out, then this one would stop. It doesn't do anything. The 2nd level, now the servo goes and moves everything over. Well, I mean, it moves everything over. Okay? And then the 3rd level makes everything turn the other way around. So anyway, I kind of changed this where the fence would be on by itself, and if I get my gears and the chain, it would take care of the figure moving around.
Okay, here's just a thought. and you don't have to have the guy come out of the shed. You can have him go to the car. And I can't remember where I saw this. They actually had a key opening on the side of the fascia, the front fascia of your layout. And in order to open that gate, you had to put the key in and turn it, and then the gate would open.
Didn't Lance Minheim have that?
It's like the guy gets out of the engine, the conductor gets out, he opens the gate, the engine goes in, and then your other guy will do the cut lever.
Actually, here's the way it would really work. You're running modern era, right, Lloyd?
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah, okay. Even in the 70s. The control box for the gate, that's in the building. The guy never goes out to the gate. He's just watching. When the engine approaches, he flips the switch, gate opens. Now, he can come out the side door and walk over to the cars and hook up.
At a friend at the local industry in my area, they have a gate here, one of them, and they go over, unlock the padlock, and then, though the engine stops before the industry, the group gets off, unlocks the gate, and then they proceed up to the switch lead to do all their switching.
Yeah, but you're talking about something that's built way back. He's a modern railroad.
No, this industry is pretty new, actually.
Yeah, because it makes sense for the guy in the shack. When he gets to work, he goes out, goes ahead and unlocks the gate when he first gets on shift. So he doesn't have to do that anymore the rest of the day. He just opens and closes the gate. At the end of shift, he'll go lock the gate back up. He controls the whole thing from the building. That way he comes out the side door, like Ralph was talking about, go over and do the uncouple or a couple cars.
Save you the headache of doing the multiple layer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right now, I was just building my fence. That was it.
So,
But-
and you put a sign on the fence, activate horn or bell to open gate.
Okay, well, there's another step, which is the first step, really, is following our Arduino course yesterday with the sensor, is that I'm going to have a sensor which is, I'd say, about 12 inches away from the gate. Once the locomotive goes through that sensor, okay, it will activate the figure to come out of the building. But if you say that he's going to stay in the building, then it's going to activate the gate. The sensor will activate the gate. You understand?
Yeah. All right, here. We got railroad video. Ingenious. This is fantastic. You were thinking like a chess player while the others are playing checkers. And he, Robert said that Stephen Bennett has a key lock on his side of the fascia. That's Stephen.
Lance Minheim also did that. And he even wrote it in MR.
Yeah, he probably got it from Stephen.
It just adds a little bit more to the operation where the guy actually physically has to do something.
Yeah.
In order.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to figure out, let's say a newcomer would come and operate, and he doesn't know about that gate, and he just rams the locomotive through the gate. I'm stuck having to build another one. So I was trying to figure out a way where probably I would make a cut in the tracks.
You
so
already
that
have
there's
a sensor. You already have a sensor in the track. The sensor will sense the engine there, and it'll kill the track until that switch is turned, or the track is killed till the switch is turned.
Okay, so you're really
Activating the track.
you're talking about physically having to open up that gate.
Just like when you come home, you have to take your key and put it in your
Yeah.
door in order to get the door open.
Yeah. I was probably thinking more of having everything automated, but
But automated takes away from your operations.
That's true. And well, since I'm in a question, just one question. Huh?
Not a bad idea, yours. It's just how you want to operate. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question. My fence is piano wire. Okay. Now, if something was to happen and fall, let's say because the gate is going to be maybe, I don't know, 2/16 2/16 off the track. Now, if something was to happen and the fence falls on the track, it's going to short, right?
Not necessarily.
You gonna paint it?
Paint what? The fence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a little bit of insulation now.
Which that paint would wear too, but if you have the correct circuit breakers, there's not really much to worry about with that anyway.
Yeah, and also you could even before the gate or something have a blue flag or something on the track, or like a derailleur switch.
The issue is shorting with the gate. If you paint the bottom edge of the gate with clear varnish.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it'd take a long time.
Or a piece of Scotch tape, real thin, on the bottom edge.
Yeah,
so
on mine.
It comes down on the track, it doesn't short it out.
Oh, Flex Seal it. Use Flex Seal on it.
On mine, I used a really, and on most scale, I used a really fine thin of, I really cut it down pretty thin and tried to, electric wire, or, not electric,
Tape. Liquid tape is what you used.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, you can kill two birds with one stone in this argument too. You're talking about killing the electricity unless the gate's open. So just make it to where when the gate's open, then there could be power on the rails. But until the gate's open, that does two things. It keeps the short from being possible and being able to run a locomotive through the gate unless you have a current keeper.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah,
I love twofers. So, if you get kill two birds with one stone with one sensor, that's simpler.
Which is what I said with the key. When you turn the key, it powers the track.
And I agree with that too. And the first guy to do that is I think of his name, but he does a B&O Western Maryland layout in California that's quite large, and he did that 25 or 30 years ago. However, Steve Bennett has a really good article on how he did it, how it tied to CMRI, etc. But that guy who does the Western Maryland, I'll go look him up right now and pop you guys a link in here for him.
All right, Robert has got a couple of comments here. Does that happen often on your layout, random people coming by? Also, run the power through the key lock and have the gate powered through the lock so that if you turn the key, the power to the track and gate come alive. What Andy was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, but for now, put it this way, it's been a year and nobody has showed up yet.
Huh.
So I'd be the only one doing it. But
You're
if I do,
you're going to have quite a bit of trackage inside that gate, right?
Well, no, it's going to be two, what do you call them? Two sites, two sidings, yeah.
What about all those extra warehouse doors? Are you not that's not an issue?
Oh no, that's another project.
Oh, okay.
No, this one will be for my what do you call it? Vulcan.
Oh, I thought this was for your
my beer, my brewery.
Yeah.
Oh no. I would need a longer fence.
Better watch it, Lloyd. Ralph lives the closest. He might just show up just for the heck of it.
I don't mind. I don't mind at all. As soon as I finish my track work, which I still have maybe a good 3-4 months to do, then hey, anybody who wants to drop by and do some operations are welcome.
Maybe I can deliver the trackmobile instead of shipping it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, for the Trackmobile, I told Trish to order the one you said.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
And
okay.
anyway, Lloyd, if you go to other people's houses for operations, if you're the new guy, you're gonna put somebody with him that knows the layout to keep stuff from that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
That
they
mean I would have to separate myself into 5 people.
Yes, that's the nature of being a layout owner, is that you dart around from place to place. But I'll tell you what, even if you had a skilled set of guys who are operating, mistakes happen. If you have momentum, so it's better to plan for the human error element and just put a few safeties in place, since that's not that hard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drop a link to this guy's channel.
I mean,
like
like
a
when I
store,
went
you break it, you
to
buy it.
what's his name, Andy? Norm.
Thomas.
No,
Oh,
Norm
Steve.
Stencil. He has a handout that kind of, it's not long, but it kind of gives you the rules of the layout, and you can put in there the different spots, like coming up to the gate, what to do there and all.
Yeah. For me, each of my trains have a job card, though I also have a how-to book, a simple how-to and rule book. There is the basic rule, the most important rules on the job cards for each of the trains. So, like different, there's also rules that suggestion rules on my rule book. Though there's a lot of how-to articles in the back of my rule book.
Honestly, though, if you're going to put a key on the front of the layout, this guy that I pasted the link for, the first guy I've ever seen to actively do that key thing, he just has a little single sentence little instruction right there.
Yeah, and Travis Marshall, didn't he have? He has keys on it with his switch stand, G-scale switch stands.
Yeah, but he has padlocks, literal padlocks. It's not part of this electrical circuit, but
yeah.
But
anyway, I don't think I'll be having too many of those bright ideas. I mean, that's one. So whoever is running that particular run, I guess I'll be telling him about it. But I'm not going to have 3-4 gates like that.
It's not that complicated. When he gets up there to that gate, he's not just going to say, well, I don't know how to get through it and ram it. I mean, you're not, the Dukes of Hazzard aren't operating your railroad. he gets there, he's going to say, hey, how do I do this? So I don't foresee it being that complicated, but the safety of turning the track off is also a nice safety, since you spent some time and built that gate that looks perfect, by the way. Especially the second one really looked perfect.
And you also can have that also written up in the job card for each train.
I got a comment here from Robert. He says, thank you so much for doing this. I've been working on my layout for a little over 2 years, and videos like this really help and give me ideas. You're welcome, Robert.
And that's what we're here for. Help each other spend their money. That's the long-standing tradition of our community. No, I'm a tremendous. I may not be an exceptional modeler, but I am a tremendous lot better modeler because of these fellas here. So,
hey, Andy, don't put up your don't.
You'll get it soon enough.
Josh.
Yeah, that's why I love this community, because like I have those ideas, but like for example, Arduino. That's when it comes to electronics, and most of the people, you already know that when it comes to electronics, I'm pretty much zero. So, hey, I need all the help I can get for that.
Well, but it's in the dynamic. Model railroaders tend to be guys who are fairly stabilized in careers, that want to spend their time at home, that have an interest in this kind of particular stuff. Electronics is often not either their particular expertise, or even though I'm an electrical guy, it's not what I want to spend all my time on. But if we work together, we figure things out. Like, from those couple videos, I've got a fully working signal head with a couple hours of work. So and it wasn't hard, but it was because of the community of people that share ideas.
Yeah, it's like Ralph's videos on weathering. If you haven't looked at them, go take a look. I mean, they're incredible.
Yeah,
So,
he's not bad, not at all. They are exceptional, absolutely exceptional, Ralph.
and even Marty down there in Australia. I mean, he's the one that gave me the idea about the gears and the chain. So when I get them, I'm gonna ask them to design my.
Even Marty, huh? Even Marty.
Even Marty.
If you pay the bus fare, I'll come over.
The bus fare, I don't
that's
mind.
a really long bus ride. But that's the benefit of the community is that, you know, even amongst us here and all the members of the chat over there, we're all into quite different things. So what a unusual coincidence it was that Lloyd was on here talking. I was on here that night. And he was on here talking about it. It just so happens that Martin's on here, who also fancies the amusement park modeling and animation. That's absolutely the way to solve that particular niche that Lloyd was looking for. So fascinating.
And can't go without talking about Ed, who, by doing his shapeways, was able to give me to get me to do the little what do you call them? Pulleys. The little pulleys, so that it would roll perfectly.
Are these the ones that Edward said he won't spend the money for them himself?
No, Josh.
No, that's different. Ed's destroyed me because I have spent so much time shopping Shapeways, and I've had to buy 2 or 3 separate little pails with dividers just for the variety of parts that I ordered off Shapeways, and that, you know, Ed shared with me for various things. It's and he really sold me on 3D printing that I wasn't sold on being practical for our scale.
Well,
but these soda bottles, pop bottles, or whatever you want to call them, pop bottles in HO scale that are in absolutely. It just seems impossible that would be possible.
I want to see yours with
labels.
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to see them with an amber bottle with labels and an emblem on them.
But I could do the amber. That's no problem. But I largely want the bottles for scrap laying around under bridges. But I would like to have a few on, you know.
I have seen one with labels, and what he did was he took some a brush and made like a little stripe, you know, just around it.
Are you kidding me?
And
okay, a stripe. All right.
Right. Okay. And then that was like white or whatever the color was, right? He took like a toothpick and cut it off so he had like a little circle, dipped it in some paint, and just tapped it on that made the label.
You got to be kidding. Plus, let me show one of those just so that anybody watching this video.
I was going to pull them out.
What we're talking about, okay? Just to realize we're serious. These are pop bottles, okay? That is 100 of them. The camera will never zoom in on them. They're so small, accurate to scale. 12 or 16 ounce pop or whatever you would put in it. Pop bottles.
You haven't lost any yet, Andy?
Pardon me?
You haven't lost any? You haven't lost any yet?
Oh, yeah. There's a couple knocked off the corner.
if they fall on the floor.
But I bought a bunch of them, but this is just one of the pails of 3D parts. I've separated 3D parts, and I've even got various things combined, and I've got at least 2 of these pails, mostly with 3D parts.
Hey, Andy.
Sir.
What we really want to see on those bottles is the
labels.
No, the pop top.
Oh my gosh. I've done a little bit of painting with needles, you know, to do some particular things, but I can see putting a stripe across it. I could see that being possible. Actually, putting a Dr. Pepper label,
Here's something to put your bottles in. Here's something to put your bottles
Oh
in.
yeah, we've talked about that. We were talking about trying to. Me and Ed, a few of the guys have talked on here about it. It was Ed's idea, so don't let me claim it. But about laser etching pop cases out of brass.
Well,
Can
these-
you post a link, Ralph?
What's
Yeah,
that?
that's awesome.
I need that for my brewery. Please
Okay.
post a link.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
Hey, Andy.
CC me on that too, please, because that's awesome. Oh yeah, there you are. That's an older style. So that's not, but that's not a pop bottle.
No, that's
No, that's one of my favorites right there. That's 54 millimeters tall.
54 millimeters tall. That's about yay tall.
That's about it.
Wow.
2 inches.
So all of those are fairly modern. Oh, you got no. I need I need something fairly dated, you know. I don't think there wasn't a lot of Corona in Appalachia in 1950. So now that one looks dated, but
Heineken.
yeah, I just don't know. 1950 in Appalachia. That's what I've been thinking about. Trying to get like RC or something like that. But
No,
they're black, and the black ones don't show like the amber bottles. They show up good. So in this little area under the river, I paint a few of them amber and throw a few of them in the kind of the weeds.
I even have. I managed to get pictures to put inside my brewery because I'm gonna have two dock garage doors. They're gonna be open, so you want to be able to see the inside.
Oh yeah, those are. Do you follow Ib Peter 2 on YouTube? He just recently did a 2-part series on a warehouse he did. Had the door open, used a picture like you were, but used some racks in front of the picture like we had talked about.
Yeah.
He has and he put lighting in it and all that. It was, it proved the case to me.
That's why my picture is curved.
Yep.
So I'll be able to put stuff inside. Also, I have a light to be able to see the picture.
Sure.
I've ordered beer, not jugs.
Kegs.
Kegs. Yeah, I've ordered kegs, so that's gonna go also inside the door. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Maybe
Who's
some beers inside would enhance that.
Sacco, what's his name? George Sacco, something does. He's kit manufacturer. Does
City Classics.
Yeah, City
out.
Classics. He
Check
has a
out
series
Ed's
of.
picture.
Pardon me.
Check his picture while you're talking, Andy.
Oh, yeah, he has recently came out with see, look at those amber bottles.
That's O scale. That's the O scale.
Right, but they're perfect. It's the amber color, and I like the little cases. And your idea of etching brass cases is absolutely the way to do that. But for my particular case, having a half dozen amber bottles thrown in the weeds under, at the foot of a bridge pier is a perfect level of trash for 1950. George Sacco does City Classics. He has a series of pictures recently that could even be backlit, although I think you would get a better effect by forelighting them. But he's got some really nice pictures and some cases of how that's used. That's basically sold me on doing that as a part of interior. And just one more point on it is Miles Hill did some videos on here about a year or two ago about doing interiors and about using pictures that way. So it's for anybody watching that, going back watch that video, that was good stuff.
My question is for HO, what if you did a box, just didn't have the dividers, it was just the box part? Just the 4 walls. You could get away with a crate made of thicker wood. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. It's just because you could resin cast them. Yeah.
Well,
dividers. I mean, we could use some type of plastic, or even
The reason I was saying that I couldn't do these in HO is just because the dividers right now are thick in it for O scale, right? But you could go a thicker wall on HO. It would look like a thick wood box, and just either dividers or not dividers at that scale.
Or put cardstock, or you know, they don't have to be. It doesn't have to have a structural value.
Well, I mean,
it could just be
these things were interlocking tabs. There was a slot cut halfway through one board, and the other board had a slot halfway cut to the other side, right?
Yeah, like lace them, like I do for building interiors. I lace
So you are able to take paper or cardstock, and you remember there's a thing called I told you about taking lacquer and spraying paper with it, and it plasticizes it, right? It basically, the lacquer soaks through the paper.
Oh yeah, you talked about that once before, but I haven't found it.
As men wax spray lacquer, but what I was thinking was, you could spray. What you do, you could print the color, you know, on your paper, spray it with a lacquer, and then use your laser doohickey to cut your little slatted dividers out.
Yeah, I got this laser cutter, so it's kind of like the rancid impregnated paper product.
The trouble with that is about that thick. It's about 12 thousandths or something is about the smallest thickness they use. You could take regular notebook paper, 5 thousandths thick, spray some lacquer to plasticize it, then laser cut it. You can make your dividers. I'll see if I can come up with a box, just to fit the HO, and then you can do the laser cut the dividers on your little laser head thing.
Yeah, but Ed, see, I've got some styrene, which is 0.010. It's like paper.
Yeah, 10 thou. Yeah.
Yeah, that you could use. It's very thin.
Well, but see those dividers right there? That is approximately 12 thousandths.
So that styrene you got is almost as thick as those dividers.
Yep.
That's the problem, is we'd zoom in on it, and this won't matter when you're looking at it with the naked eye, but when you're taking close-up photos, that's when the illusion could be compromised.
Well,
I don't think in HO you need the dividers.
Yeah, I'm just saying in HO. Let me show you I'll show you a close-up of the actual.
How thick is a sheet of standard weight printing paper? It's not 10
thousandths.
Okay. So that would work, and it like we were saying, it doesn't have to be structural. It just needs to kind of be there.
It's see, paper. I gave a clinic at one of the NRA conventions. That is paper. When you say cardstock and paper, it's just words. It's all paper, and at a certain point, people start calling it cardstock. It's the weight of the paper.
Exactly.
And it's like a 18 by 36 or whatever. There's like a standard printer's size of paper when they make books and stuff. And it's so high, weighs so much. And that's all that means. But let's see, balls and crates.
All right, after this, we're gonna wind the show up.
That's. Okay, no, that doesn't show what I was trying to. Well, okay. There's it up real close. And you can see how small that is.
And that is O still though.
That's O.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is that this wall right here, you could do that in HO, and that would just be the outside of the box. So your box would be about half this, half this width and half the height.
Well, just put them together. That's true. Just skip the piece of paper. Is that Tamiya semi-transparent or
no, the color?
Yes.
You want to know what that is? Look, it's 20 miles to the hobby shop, right? So being insane like I am, that is a mixture of Mosh Posh, your favorite, food coloring.
Food coloring.
That's a
All water based,
a yellow and
a touch of red.
yeah, whatever food coloring mixed with Mod Podge.
Same.
It was kind of thick. It was a little
I'll give you credit for originality, brother.
yeah, well, I was like in a mood, but what I do, I'll come up with some HO boxes that will fit, however many bottles, and just if you can come up with a divider, okay. If not, it don't. In HO, who needs them? If you get a crate that you can put, that's actually a small crate. That's only of 12. You need 24. Actually, you need 4 of a 6 on the bottles.
But it depends on the era.
Well,
Depends on the era because not every era had 24 in a case.
well, I mean, I've done both of them. I've done 24 and.
I mean, just two guys sitting with their feet hung over the at the foot of a bridge above it with a 6-pack. That's a good detail.
But if you notice this, did you know there's actually little cutouts for the
Incense, yep.
Come on, that is pretty wild that machine was capable of doing that.
Oh, I'm absolutely, as we've talked about several times, the package of parts I've got, the bottles are absolutely astonishing. But the piping that you done that has the bolt and rivet detail that is so impeccable.
Yeah, but there's a better shot after they were painted.
Well, we appreciate that, Ed, and we're gonna wind this one up. We've already overshot the two mark here.
Yeah, hey, really quick, Andy, I challenge you, just a little challenge with Andy. Get a video started on before March 22nd on his YouTube channel. We don't need to be edited. Just a live video. Just do it of your layout of the top deck you've already built.
All right, brother. What is special about March 22nd? But okay.
My birthday.
All right.
Birthday present, Andy.
I got it, and that doesn't even require me to mail it or put a little wrapper around it or anything. So
No, it doesn't. Okay. I want to say appreciate everybody being here on the panel tonight, and really appreciate the people in the chat tonight too. Hope you enjoyed the show. It seemed like we had some pretty good conversations here tonight. A little engineering done later tonight, figuring stuff out, how to get people to move. So with that, let's keep checking in on the YouTubeModelBuilders.com website for all the latest news and info on the Tuesday presentations, the EMAG, and the live show schedules. The live show is once every month. That's the third Saturday. The EMAG is bi-monthly. It came out about 2 weeks ago. JD and his team did it again. Hit it right on the nail. It's bi-monthly, with the Tuesday presentations are twice a month now. They're the second and third Tuesday of the month. We've also got the Arduino workshop that's on Wednesday nights, and it's on the first and third Wednesday of the month. So that way we kind of gotten a show going almost every week there for you guys. The fine scale build will be starting up in February the 7th, and that's another hands-on like the Arduino show, except this is going to be building wood structures and help you develop techniques for building, painting, weathering, landscaping. Thursday's hangouts are, each week on Thursday. You can go to the website, sign up for the e-mag, so when it comes out, you'll be mailed this PDF file. And also, you'll all the shows, we have 2 different times now for the shows. The Tuesday and Wednesday shows are at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. The Thursday and Saturday live show are still at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I want to say thank you for participating in tonight's Hangout. Let's see here. We've got... next show is going to be the fine scale build on February 7th. So hope to see everybody there, and y'all enjoy the show. I know you will because of the people that's in there and the different techniques that are going to be shown off. So thank you, and see you next week. Have a good weekend. So goodbye.
Night, John.
Hi, John.
See you, Ralph.